Hey guys, this is Richard Lee with Cold Steel. Today we got some new items. We're at IWA 2018. Some of the new items from Cold Steel. First we have up is the Bush Ranger here. It has a Sheffield clip point. It's 4 inches long. Originally Mr. Thompson developed a fixed bladed Bush Ranger knife. He really liked the handle and he wanted to bring it back in a folder. So we have this folder here. It's made out of premium steel. It's about 4 inches long, and it's using our world famous triad lock. It has a thumb plate for easy opening, and it's a great feeling knife. It's kind of like a medium version of our SR1. The SR1 is kind of our heavy tank. It's super solid. If you wanted to be stuck in an island, I'd rather have an SR1. This is something that's about a little less than that. It's just as solid, but it's not as weighty in the pocket. The SR1 is your tank, and this would be like a medium tank, if that makes any kind of sense. This is super sturdy. It's great in the hand, and the handle is a little bit different. Again, CNC milled G10. A great knife, and I think it's going to do really, really well. We also have a lighter version. We call this the Bush Ranger Light. It doesn't use our triad lock. In fact, it uses our rocker lock system, but it also has a secondary safety. This is a cheaper price point for the Bush Ranger. For those of this knife is going to be retailing for about $225, $230. So if you want something similar to this knife, but at a lower price point, the Bush Ranger Light is going to be the one that you want. And again, it's got some of the same features, but it doesn't have the G10 scales. It's a glass-filled nylon and not as a premium steel. It's got a steel that's really similar to AUS 8, but it's a great knife, and it comes at a really good price point. And next up we have the SR1, except this year we're adding a Tonto version. It's all the same features of our other SR1 folding knife, but we're using in the Tonto point here. 4 inches long, and again using all our premium steel, G10 liners. This is, again, Mr. Thompson has said as if you were going to drop him off somewhere out in the boonies, this is the folding knife he would take. It's nothing more solid than this. I think it's nearly as solid as our 4MAX, but obviously it's in a smaller package. It's a great knife, and I like the Tonto point better than the clip point, so it's really just about preference at that point, right? Next up is our Luzon. Mr. Thompson really loves ballast songs. We couldn't bring out a ballast song, but he likes the blade shape, and this is a really common blade shape in the Philippines for ballast songs, and he wanted something kind of similar to that feel of a ballast song. It's really similar to our tie light because it uses our leaf spring system, but it also has a secondary lock right here. Now we'll make this nearly, it's very, very difficult to break this lock. Again, it's just as good as our tie light, 100 pounds to defeat this lock system. Uses 8CRV steel, which is really similar to, again, AUS 8. These are cheap. If you look at the price point here, our Luzon for the larger versions at 64 or 65, and our smaller Luzons at 50. So the excellent price point. It comes in two sizes. One's a 4-inch model, which is this one. And again, it's got a liner lock, and it's like a flipper, so you can flip it out just like that. And our larger model, obviously, we have to make larger models because it's Cold Steel. And by golly, you gotta have some large knives. This is our 6-inch version here. Still using the leaf spring and our secondary lock like that. So we'll break and we'll move on to some fixed bladed knives. Like that?
Yes.
Okay, back with part two. We're moving on to our fixed bladed series for 2018. The very first one we have the Minitac Bowie. The Minitac series has done really well for us. Again, it's Cold Steel, so we got to make a Bowie version. This comes in right at $30, US dollars, of course. Using AUS 8, I love the Minitac. This is what I normally carry on my belts. If you want a different version besides the Skinner or the Tonto, the Bowie's just a new version of that. Excellent knife, good neck knife. It could be a good belt knife where you want to put it. but it's got a really sharp point and obviously a big belly from that Bowie design. You get a lot of knife for a 3.5 inch knife. It's just a little over 3.5. The next one we have from our Drop Forge series is our push dagger. This is a 4-inch knife using our 52-100 high carbon steel. It's from our Drop Forge series. It's a push knife. It's excellent in the hand, and again, it's one piece, so you don't have a handle. It's all one solid piece, which makes it pretty indestructible. Trying to break this thing, you're going to have a hard time. Again, you have two solid edges here, and it terminates into a solid point. If you look at the spine, it's hard to see it from here, but if you look at that spine, it is super thick. So that is about as solid and as rugged piece as you're ever going to get. So if you want a push knife that's going to be pretty indestructible, this is it. This year we also added a couple new San Mai versions. Our SRK and our Recon Tanto been standbys for Cold Steel for many years. We're reintroducing San Mai, and this version here is we're using a different core. Normally we used a VG1 core back in the day. These have all been upgraded to a VG10 core, so the steel quality's gone up quite a bit. This is the SRK version. We have 3 models now, SK5, 3V, and now we have a San Mai version, which will, if you just want a better looking a knife that's going to last forever, this is it. It's nice and shiny. People love that, so I can't go wrong with San Mai. So that's our SRK version. We also have our Recon Tanto. I love the Recon Tanto. I have all the versions of Recon Tanto from the Carbon 5 series. And again, if you want a San Mai version, there it is. Again, with the VG10 core. Look how beautiful and handsome that knife is. And if you look at the spine, look how solid that spine is. It goes all the way into the handle. It's pretty hard. This is a rock solid knife. Again, Zombie Apocalypse, this is the knife you want to take because it's going to last forever. Incredibly difficult, extremely flexible in terms of its ability to come back from stress. Super good edge because of that VG10 core. We had a lot of success with our Nightfall series with the Tantos. We are reintroducing, back in the day, the Magnum Tanto series. We had 4 different sizes. We're bringing back the Tanto series, but we're using, again, that VG10 core. We went away from VG1 and upgraded to VG10. We have 4 different sizes. I believe it's a 6-inch, 7.5, 9, and 12-inch. This is the Magnum 12-inch Tanto. This was the first, back in the day when it first came out, this is the first knife I ever bought from Cold Steel, was a Magnum Tanto. I still have it to this day. It sits next to my bed just in case, you never know what can happen, right? All the nickel plating here, you can just see the fit and finish on this knife it's beautiful, it's perfect. And again, you can't go wrong with San Mai. I don't think that there's a better steel combination out there than San Mai for performance and ability to come back from stress. Magnum Tanto 12-inch, you get a high-performing knife for just 12 inches, and it's lightweight. It comes with a leather scabbard, and this will be available hopefully here pretty soon. Again, you have 4 different sizes to choose from depending on your size and what you want, but get all 4 because how could you miss not having a 12-inch Tanto like that? That's pretty awesome looking. Again, good spine on here. That is a solid spine, and you get a lot of performance in this size of knife. It's not as big as our Kukri, but it cuts pretty darn near as well as our Kukri, given its abilities here. And of course, if you look at the point, our roll frame is Tanto point, excellent for piercing, and can't go wrong with that.